Okay, here's optical art design number 3. I call this the elevator shaft. And you can see that I've got a longer straight edge here. And these are kind of uh, fun ones to do. And there's a few different ways to approach it, but here's how you start. You're going to take that uh, straight edge or ruler and go from corner to corner and line it up perfectly corner to corner as best you can and make that line. Now, I wouldn't do these lines real heavy. I'm gonna so you can see it, but you don't have to do it that heavy when you do it. And I would definitely do it with pencil. Then you do the same thing this way, corner to corner, so that you've got an X. What that X also does is it finds you your exact midpoint of your paper. So this is 9 by 12 paper. So I know that this is at 4.5 inches and at 6 inches. So in any event, that's how you find the middle of the paper. From here, then you're going to need your ruler or straight edge again. And but once you get started here, there's a lot of different op art you can do. I'm going to show you the elevator shaft. And here's how this works. With a straight edge, maybe I'll be able to do it with this. Start, and you're going to make a line parallel with this edge of the paper. Line it up as best you can. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's nice if it is, but if it's not the end of the world. So then you're going to move the ruler away from the previous line you drew, and that distance between the lines should grow. So between this line and that line is that far. This next one, we want to make it further than that. So maybe about there. The next one should be further than that. So let's go there. The next one further still. And then we got room for one last one. Let's go like that. So again, it's hard to make these line up perfectly, but do the best you can. If they're a little bit off, if all your lines aren't perfectly straight and perpendicular with the edge of the paper, it still works really great as an op art. Then you turn the page like I just did 90 degrees and go back to where that line ended that you drew, that first line we drew, and do the same thing. Line it up and go like that. Like that. Each one gets further apart from the previous one. And what that does is it creates the illusion, the optical illusion that we are going back in space, or that this is some sort of tunnel, or as I like to call it, like an elevator shaft. If you're on the top of a 90-story building, let's say, and you look down the elevator shaft, it would end up looking like what this is going to look like. See, so there's two sides of it, and you go around, you do that all the way around. Then I'd go here, line it up, and do the same thing. Now I won't go all the way around, but what you end up with is lines all the way around in that configuration. Okay, so maybe it would be helpful for me to do that real quickly. So like that. The trickiest one is the fourth side. So this is side 3. I'm just deciding on the fly that you guys should probably see this because I think you'll benefit from seeing how it all comes together. And then I'll show you the one that I've pretty much finished. And again, color-wise, you want to create pattern and you want to have contrast. So an example of bad contrast would be like brown and dark blue. Those aren't different enough. They're both very dark colors, so you don't want that. You want black-white. You want yellow, purple. You want to make these colors very different. So here's where you might realize, oh, these lines aren't perfectly straight. And I don't think it matters that much. It still looks really good. But you do the best you can. And one last one here. There we go. Probably rushing more than I would otherwise. Okay, so there you go. There's your elevator shaft, and you're going back in space. That's the optical illusion. Then you can choose how you want to color it. Each of these four sides or walls could be different colors, but I would go dark, light, dark, light, dark, light, or black, white, or warm, cool, whatever you choose. I did black, white, and the last thing I want to tell you is, and then I did it in Sharpie. And the last thing I want to point out to you is the importance of keeping your lines nice and clean. So that means still using your straight edge. If these lines are jagged, it does not create a convincing optical illusion. So I line this up, even though I've got straight lines, and you might think, oh, I got a steady hand, but it's really hard to do. So the last thing I have to do with this is to go around and I hold that straight edge down, and that gives me that nice straight line. And that is the key to making this work. And so you would do that for all the way around. Now notice I went black, white, black, white. And then this way I went white, black, white, black. So you can play around with that so that you've got alternating colors here. So it's white, black, white, black, black, white, black, white, all the way throughout. And make sure you use the ruler to create nice, clean lines like you see right there.